next session of our is Matthew lesson. From this we are going to use methods of separation. That is nothing but separating the substances from a mixture. Okay. Already we have discussed that a mixture is a combination of two or more substances. Okay. As the mixture is combination of two or more substances, there is a requirement. If there is a requirement of separating those substances, we should have some method of separation. Okay, we should follow some techniques to separate those substances. Among there are so many different type of methods: hand picking method, winnowing, sieving, filtration, crystallization, and we have sublimation process, evaporation and paper chromatography, and we have separation of immiscibles and distillation process and separation of gases. Okay, here separating the substances from a mixture is going to play an important role in our day-to-day activities. We will come across with so many activities, so many scenarios where we are going to use some techniques. Here we will use different methods based on the type and nature of the substance. We are going to use different separation techniques here. Before going to see the sublimation, what is the sublimation? We'll understand what is the sublimation is. Okay. Generally, we know that all the substances around us might be existing in any form of the three stages. That is, that might be in the form of a solid, or it might be in the form of liquid, or it might be in the form of a gas. Okay. Now what we do, we know is whenever we are heating, whenever we are supplying the heat to the solids, it is going to convert into liquid. If the liquid phase substance, if it is heated, we are going to convert into gas. Okay. Now, if there is a special behavior where if we are supplying the heat energy to a solid form, if that is directly going to convert into by heating, if it is going to convert directly to the gaseous phase, that we call as sublimation. Okay, that phase we call as sublimation. It is solids gets directly converted into gaseous is considered as sublimation, where it is going to skip the liquid phase. If the solid is general method is solid heated, it is going to convert into liquid. Liquid heating is going to convert into gas. But by skipping the intermediate stage, if the solid phase is directly converted into gas by heating, that is called as sublimation. Okay, how we understood? That is skipping the phase of liquid in the process of converting a solid to gas is called as sublimation, where in sublimation solids will directly converting into gases. Okay. Now we'll see how this is helpful, how this process is helpful, and what is the experimental setup and activity in order what we are going to perform in this lesson. Go to page number 91. Page number 91 and figure number 9 and activity number 6 is going to discuss about this. That is separation of components of a mixture by sublimation. Okay. To perform this, we are going to take the mixture of salt, that is common salt, and the mixture of ammonium chloride, where the physical appearance of ammonium chloride and common salt look like same, where they have the different chemical properties. If the two things are mixed, substances are mixed. Now I want to make them separate. Ammonium chloride and common salt I want to separate. Where I can't use the sieving method. I can't take a sieve and sieve, and I can't use the sieving method in order to separate that salt and ammonium chloride. Where salt is left or ammonium chloride is down, I can't do that. Okay, I can't use the filtration process also, where I am selecting the method of sublimation, where the ammonium chloride has the tendency of converting directly from solid to gases whenever we are heating it. That is the property of the ammonium chloride, or the tendency of the ammonium chloride to change directly from solid to gaseous. We'll take the help of that property, or we will take the help of the tendency in order to separate the ammonium chloride from the common salt by using the sublimation technique. Okay, to do that, we take a china dish. Take a china dish and keep the china dish on a tripod stand. Okay, keep a Bunsen burner just down to the china tripod stand. This is a burner. It's a stand. Of course, I am not good at drawing. Don't concern much. I want to. Okay. Now here in this china dish, add the mixture of. Now place the mixture of. This is the mixture of. Add the mixture of ammonium chloride plus common salt. Okay, this is the mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt. This china dish consists ammonium chloride and common salt. Now what we do? We have to take a glass funnel. And invert this glass funnel on the china dish. Invert the glass funnel on the china dish such that the mouth of the glass funnel is going to cover the entire china dish. Okay, and after this you should close the funnel with the cotton. This is the cotton. Okay, this we have funnel. This is the setup, experimental setup of our sublimation process. Now what to do is, whenever we light on this burner, slowly the mixture of ammonium chloride and salts get heated up. Due to the heating, we notice a white color gas is liberated. The white color gas is liberated from the mixture, which will notice spreading throughout the funnel. Okay, what is this white color gas? Is ammonium gas. Okay, that ammonia. Notice here, the ammonium in the form of a solid is directly converting into gas when we are going to heat that mixture of common salt and ammonium chloride. Okay, this property of ammonium chloride makes us enable to separate the ammonium chloride and common salt. And if you continue the process, the total ammonium chloride which is present in the mixture gets evaporated, and that will be settled on the inner walls of the funnel. Once we notice there is no liberation of the gas from this china dish, we have to take out that china dish glass funnel, and if you observe the internal walls of the funnel, we notice the white color layer which is going to form on the internal walls of the funnel. That is ammonium chloride, which again it is solid. Again it is going to be converted. It is going to settle on the walls of the funnel, glass funnel, in the solid form, and the common salt will be left after completion of the process. The common salt will be left over in the china dish. Okay, hence we can conclude that as as the ammonium chloride is directly converted into gaseous phase when it is heated, this process is considered as sublimation, and it is used to separate. It is used to separate, and this sublimation process is used to separate ammonium chloride from the common salt. I hope you understood this. Let's see the next thing. Let us see the next activity is evaporation process. What is the process of evaporation? That what we are going to see now. See, the evaporation process is mainly used to separate, okay, the dye, the respective dye from the ink. What does it mean? Okay, ink look like a liquid substance of which is made. Actually, ink is made up of water plus respective dye. Water plus respective. Now my concern is that I want to get back my dye, the respective dye from the ink. Okay, how to do that? How can I collect? How can I take my dye back? Is my requirement is to do so. We have to take a glass beaker. Which is half filled with water. And keep this on a tripod stand. Keep it on a tripod stand. Now take a watch glass, a thick glass which have a thick glass which have a concave surface here where we can keep any liquid on the glass. Now we have to drop few amount of ink on the watch glass. Okay, this is a watch glass, and this is ink. This is beaker. This is stand. The burner. This is our experimental setup. This is water. Now what to do is, whenever we are lighting on the burner, some amount of heat energy will be supplied to this water. Due to the supply of the heat energy to the water, this water starts getting boiled and is going to convert into water vapor. As the water vapor is also warm, this warm water vapor slowly heats this watch glass. The warm water vapor slowly heats this watch glass, where due to the hotness of the watch glass, a small amount of water which is present in the ink starts getting evaporated. Okay, we continue the process until the total amount of water present in the ink gets evaporated. Okay, after complete evaporation of the water which is present in the amount of liquid, we notice that the respective dye is left as a residue on the watch glass. Hence, this is the process where we are going to use in order to separate the respective dye from the ink. The question, you might have got a question that why we are not keeping the direct watch glass and the tripod stand to supply the ink, might be your doubt. In order to separate the water from the ink, we need a certain amount of heat, a small amount of heat energy, where we cannot provide that heat energy, that amount of heat energy by directly keeping the watch glass on the tripod stand, where we have to have this experimental setup where the water gets boiled and gets evaporated, and due to the evaporation, heat hardness of this evaporated water vapor and its water present in the ink starts getting evaporated slowly, and the respective dye will be left over as a residue. Like this, we are going to separate the respective dye from the ink through the process of evaporation. Okay. The next thing is paper chromatography. See, the paper chromatography. Chromatography is the process. Okay, chromatography is used to separate colors from a color. Paper chromatography is a process which is used to separate respective colors from a color. Okay, a single color looks like, which is formed with is a combination of a single color, but actually a single color is a combination of multiple colors. Now, how can we get separated? How can we get separated that respective colors is our question, and that purpose can be achieved by chromatography method. In this chromatography method, same again, we have to take a beaker where a little amount of water should be filled in the beaker, and keep it on a stand, tripod stand here. Of course, there is no burner required here, and we have to take a strip of filter paper with some 3 centimeters wide and of some length, and just above the strip of few centimeters above the strip of this filter paper, the bottom of the filter paper, we have to mark a line with the help of a marker. Okay, we have to mark a line with the help of a marker, and the other end of this filter paper should be attached to the pencil, and the total setup should be immersed or kept in the water like this, in this beaker like this. Assume this is a pencil. Don't mind that I am not good at drawing. Okay, where this should be attached here. Slowly, only the edge of the filter paper should be immersed should be touched in the water, where the marked line should be just above the water. Okay, this is our experimental setup, where it is pencil, this is the filter paper, this is water and beaker, this is a tripod stand. This is our experimental setup. After sometimes, if we leave this for a while, after sometimes we notice that the water is going to spread. Come up along with the water is going to flow up along this strip, and which is going to separate the flow of water upwards along this filter paper allows to spread the colors which are present in the marked line. Okay, and if you take out this strip and if you keep it aside for drying it up, and if you closely observe this paper strip and the spreading of color, we notice few colors are spread over this paper strip, which is the evidence of that marked color is a combination of those respective colors what we find on that filter paper. in our observation. Okay, that means the paper chromatography is used to separate the colors from a color. I hope you understood these 3 experiments. Remaining 3 experiments we will see in the next video. If possible, all these experiments, experimental videos, I'll try to attach with this video. Thank you very much. We will meet in the next session. The next topic is the 4th method that what we follow is separation of immiscible liquids. Before going to see what are immiscible liquids, first we will understand what are immiscible liquids. The liquids which are not completely dissolved one another. If 2 liquids are not getting dissolved in one another, that type of liquids we are calling as immiscible. Which are not dissolved one another is called as immiscible. Which is not intermixing. If 2 liquids are not getting intermixed, that liquids are called as immiscible. Miscible liquids, when we go with the miscible liquids, both one liquid is going to dissolve in another liquid, that we are calling as miscible liquids. If one liquid is not getting dissolved and going to form a separate layer, that type of liquids we are calling as immiscible liquids. The best example of immiscible liquids are water and oil. Oil and water. If you try to mix it, the water and oil, and if you keep that water glass and the mixed glass for some time, we notice that we will get 2 separate layers. So as they are not able to mix and we are going to form 2 separate layers, that type of mixtures we are going to call as immiscible liquids. And if you take a glass of water and squeeze some lemon juice and try to dissolve it, in that water the lemon juice gets dissolved completely, where it is not going to form the 2 layers. So water and lemon juice are called as miscible liquids. Now the topic is what is the process that we follow in order to separate these immiscible liquids. What is the process that we follow in order to separate these immiscible liquids? That is separation of immiscible liquids. Next topic is separation of immiscible liquids. In this, we have to take a separating funnel where it looks like this. We have a separating funnel where at the bottom of the separating funnel have a stopcock or stopper, and where this separating funnel is attached to a stand. Here at the bottom we have to keep an empty beaker to collect the separated liquid. Here we have to pour the liquid of the mixture of oil and water and keep it undisturbed for some time. Okay, keep it undisturbed for some time. We notice that after keeping it undisturbed for some time, we notice that there will be 2 layers where the water is at the bottom and where we see the oil, the kerosene on the top of this oil on the top as a top layer. Okay. Now how can we collect these two? How can we separate these two? Water and as the two layers are formed, slowly we have to open this top cork. When we open this top cork, we notice that the water as the down layer, as the water is as the down layer, slowly the water gets collected in the bottom beaker. When the layer of the oil reaches to the stop cork, we have to switch off the stop cork. We have to switch off the stop cork where the oil will be there in the separating funnel and the water is collected in the beaker which is kept down. Like this, by using the special equipment called as separating funnel, by using the separate funnel, we can separate the water and oil as the water and oil are two immiscible liquids. Okay, this is the process what we follow in order to separate the immiscible liquids. In the next section, we will see what is distillation and how we separate the gases from the air. Okay, thank you.